welcome all to another wonderful edition of Shoot the Shit Saturday with Odds and Ends. And today we are featuring me, Ring Leader, the one and only, the mostest of the hostess. Yes, I'm taking balance things here. Yes. Also the, totally unmanageable, uncopyable, unstoppable person. Yes, I'm also staying as a shit. Anyways, we have Bao here. And we're also joined by Astronaut DB7, Nicholas Zombie.
Hello.
And the hero of our time, Obsley 2003.
Yo.
And I am the one and only hostess with the mostest of this channel. Thank you very much. I just want to make that.
And I'm the highly rated armor-plated material never ever duplicated.
No. So today, we'll start off with something that someone loves to do very often, and I'm actually curious if you have a subject cover in this question. Ask, what do you hate this week, if anything, or what do you want to rant on that is, of course, suitable for the channel and whatnot?
I actually hadn't thought of, things as...
What's this?
But...
Astronauts has no fucking idea what to talk about?
I didn't say that.
Nothing to rant on? Nothing that's already sitting on his mind? Okay, we'll move on.
I didn't say that.
Too late.
You know what I hate?
We're moving on.
I hate the gooey part of tomatoes.
Okay.
No, seriously, I like tomatoes. I love a good stacked sandwich with lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and onions. I love tomatoes on burgers. I love tomatoes as a general recipe in sauces and pastrami and all that other good stuff. I love tomatoes. But when it comes to actually eating a slice of tomato, I cannot stand the gooey part of tomatoes. You know that part with the seeds? I hate that. I love the crunchy bit, but the gooey part is just puts me off. I always
tomato crunchy.
Yes, I don't think they're supposed to be crunchy.
Not crunch, but you know what I mean. The succulent part that you can bite into.
The juiciness.
Would you say savory?
I don't know what you call it.
Tomatoes are supposed to be juicy.
Okay, the juiciness. But you know how when you cut into it and there's that one part in the middle of the slice that has the seeds and it's all gooey and slimy and it looks like snot or something? I hate that. It's visually off-putting. I hate how it feels in my mouth. I don't like the taste of it.
Are you slicing tomatoes to eat them?
Sometimes. I do like tomatoes. I'm a fan of
love eating
slicing raw.
I like those little...
eating it whole is eating it sliced.
I like those little grape
That's
tomatoes.
The best part. The insides of the tomatoes, the best part.
No, not the gooiness. So that's gross.
Yes, that's the whole part of the tomato. That's a whole part of tomato.
No, I like to if I take a tomato slice, I scrape out that little gooey part, and then I put the dry tomato. Well, not dry because it's obviously moist.
But you don't like liquid?
I don't like the liquid part
ketchup?
of tomato. Yeah, but I don't like the
ketchup's all gooey.
But specifically that gooiness, to me it's like gooey, slimy. I don't like it.
Do you skin your apples?
No, I eat the apple with
the crust off your sandwich?
No.
Because you sound like a child.
What the fuck? No, I do not do any of those things. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I just don't like it. Well, I don't know what you call it.
What about killer tomatoes? From outer space.
Do they have the slimy part? If they do, then I'm not a fan of them. But you asked for something I hate. I'm telling you something I hate. I hate that part of the tomato. I didn't say it was going to be a profound one. I mean, like I said, I didn't really think of one, but I don't like that part of the tomato. And that's that. This has been another installment of Things as Plates.
We have a supercut of these. And it's going to be like really harsh and political about the world.
Dude, that one that we got into...
get to the tomato bit, and we're like, what the fuck is this even?
The one we got into, that tip culture one, that was...
No.
I'm not saying we're going to get into it, I'm just saying that one got heated.
We got it.
Well,
next.
Why are we bringing this back?
No. Yeah, we're moving on. I do want to... So we're going to have a pretty cut and dry podcast today, because today we are
just like his tomatoes.
That was good. That was beautifully good.
Oh my god, that was actually fucking clever. Witty as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. That was perfect. But... What was I saying? We're gonna have a pretty cut and dry podcast because today we are doing specifically 2 reviews, one on a show and one on a movie. And I do want to say, I think before we get started on that, I think it'd be a good idea, maybe, if I don't know if you guys would agree with me, of moving away from reviewing these on our podcast and actually doing what Obbs has been kind of doing. He's done 2 installments of this already. Odds and Ends Movie Corner. He did Resident Evil, and then I think him and Augie the Froggy did. What was that movie you recently did, Obbs?
The Dark and the Wicked.
There you go. So he's done like specific like reviews and discussions with something that he kind of came up with, Odds and Ends Movie Corner. So we might start doing that in those instead of doing it as part of the podcast. But for today, we are going to do it as part of our podcast. And the 2 things that we're going to be reviewing are the show of Only Murders in the Building and Ghostbusters Afterlife. And if it's okay with you guys, I say we jump right into it with our Only Murders in the Building review.
That works.
So I believe most of you have seen it except for Val, is that right?
Yep.
So I'm going to give a brief synopsis unless somebody else wants to. But I know I talked about this show a few months back. I actually stopped watching it halfway through because something came up, took up, again, as always, takes up my time. And I kind of got stuck and wasn't able to watch it. I finally went back, binge watched from episode 1 to episode 10, the whole first season, and fell in love with it all over again. I absolutely love this series. And to start off, the synopsis is as brief and concise as I can. There's 3 strangers to each other. There's Martin Short, who plays Oliver Putnam. There is Steve Martin, who plays Charles Hayden Savage, and there is Selena Gomez, who plays Mabel. What is her last name? Does anybody remember her last name? I know her first name Mabel, but I can't remember the character's last name.
Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline. But anyway,
What's wrong with it?
These people live in a grand building in the center of New York called the Arconia, and there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of big name people that live here. Charles Hayden Savage, Steve Martin himself, he is a former, somewhat washed up actor who used to play a TV cop named Brazos. Think of your Columbos, think of your Kojaks and stuff like that. He was one of those characters, and that's his claim to fame. But that was years ago, like in the 80s, and he hasn't really had much work since then. Oliver Putnam is a Broadway producer who had some hits and some misses. He produced some major hits, but at the same time he had some major losses, and he himself is also kind of in washed up fashion. Mabel, Selena Gomez, she is actually not a resident of the Arconia. She is renovating her aunt's room in the Arconia because she's like an artist. She likes to sketch, paint, and draw and stuff like that. So she used to come there as a child every summer. Her mother would let her come and stay with her aunt, and now that she's an adult, she's actually renovating. Well, by chance one day these 3 meet up in an elevator. This is at the very start of the show. They meet up in an elevator. They have a clear repulsion towards each other, except for Martin Short, for Oliver. He just loves to try to talk to everybody. Nobody seems to want to talk to him. I love his character. He's very out there. He's very flamboyant. He's very full of life, and I just generally love his personality and his character. He brings the character to life very well. Anyway, on this elevator ride, a man by the name of Tim Kono gets on with them. He's carrying a white trash bag, and he's on the phone. He gets off on a floor, and then later on, it seems like that's nothing. That's nothing out of the ordinary. They're about to listen to their favorite podcast, just like you're listening to yours right here on Odds and Ends Gaming.
Nice plug.
Yes. But anyway, they're about to listen to their favorite podcast by a lady by the name of Cinda Channing, called somewhere in Oklahoma or something along those lines. It's a true crime murder podcast. When all of a sudden there's an alarm in the building, everybody rushes out. These three meet in a restaurant nearby and find a common ground in the fact that they love the same podcast, so they strike up a conversation. When they come back, they find out that there was a suicide in the building. Their own true crime curiosity gets the better of them. They sneak into the building and they get onto the floor where the murder took place, and they find Tim Kono, the guy that was on the elevator with them, only to find that it doesn't really seem like it was actually a murder. It seems like a suicide. So to abridge things from there...
Reverse that.
I'm sorry?
Reverse what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like it's a murder, not a suicide. They declared it a suicide, but they believe foul play to be involved. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, not to like fucking go through every episode individually and give the plot. That's essentially what propels the story, and the rest of it is them collecting little bits of evidence that seem to support their theory that this was a murder. Throughout the episodes, they go on and they uncover little bits and pieces. They find a lot of jewelry in his apartment hidden in cutout books. They find out that he was supposedly trying to take down some sort of jewel not counterfeiter, what was he, embezzler, I guess, and that he might have been murdered for this. Long story short, they were right. He actually was murdered, but it doesn't turn out to be who they believe murdered him. There is another character played by...
Are you going to spoil it?
What?
Are you going to spoil who did it?
This is a review. We're giving the synopsis.
I thought we were gonna let the audience give the audience a review, non-spoiler review.
Is that what we're doing?
Oh, I don't know. I just.
Okay, should
it's
I?
Up to you.
Should I not?
Ring, what do you think?
It'd be improper to.
Okay.
I just feel like it's a mystery show, and just to give it out like that.
Okay. Well, I can still. Basically, it's got a lot of twists. It's got a lot of turns. It is a fantastic show. It does subvert expectations. In certain parts, it subverts expectations. In other parts, it comes off as a little cliche. But I fell in love with it. I have nothing but praise for the acting chops of Martin Short and Steve Martin. Martin Short is absolutely my favorite character in this. I just love his whimsy throughout the entire the entire run of the show. Everything he does, he just dials it to 11. It's just great. And the way he runs around, always has something quirky to say. He reminds me a lot of like the David Tennant Doctor Who. I'm not sure if anybody here has ever watched Doctor Who. I used to be big into Doctor Who during the Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Chris Eccleston period. But he reminds me a lot of David Tennant. David Tennant spent a lot of time putting himself in danger, running away from said danger, and making quirky remarks while doing it. And Martin Short just totally, I loved his performance. I like the chemistry that they have. This is 2 out of the 3 amigos, and the 2 of the better amigos. Mabel, obviously, Selena Gomez steps in as the third one. She is the, I guess what you'd call the straight man of the trio. She's very serious. She's very austere with everything. She doesn't like to stand for Martin Short's shit. Like every time that Martin Short or even Steve Martin say or do something kind of goofy, she kind of just gives them that stern look. Like, no, just stop. No. She's herself is a very intriguing character. As the show unfolds, you start to learn and unravel a lot of things about her. Steve Martin, I think, is sort of like the father figure of the group. He sort of tries to, I think, keep the others grounded and in check, whereas Martin Short's, flights of fancy kind of get away from him, and Selena Gomez is kind of like the polar opposite. She's like, no, this is, it's not like that, and she's just completely, she's too grounded. Steve Martin kind of keeps everything He brings levity, but at the same time, making sure that things don't get too out of hand. The music, I love the music. I love the score. I love the acting. I loved the plot itself. I liked how it turned out, and I can't wait for season 2. But I've droned on and on about that. I know I'm not the only one that's seen it, so if anybody would like to add more to that, by all means, go ahead. Awkward silence.
I just finished binging it for the thing. I saw that it came out. I kind of dismissed it, but then once I kind of got started watching it, I did hook me. The episodes, there's only 10 episodes. They're each like 30 minutes long, so it's not a big thing to binge or whatnot to space it out. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the chemistry, and because obviously, where the story is, there's the huge age gap between. I think Selena Gomez's character is like 28. And obviously Steve Martin and Martin Short, they're up 60s, 70s, somewhere around there. So they take that into consideration.
And they do address that in the show.
Yeah, but they make it work. It's super quirky. It's just kind of like, yeah, the home, like they literally kind of come together to make the little podcast from scratch, and just kind of how they do it's just funny. And like you said, the Martin Short's character, he's the eccentric one where he's just so tunnel vision on, we got to get this done for his own kind of reasons, not bad reasons, but it's gets him going, and they're all kind of just involved in it one way or the other, whether they like it or not. But Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I love his method of deduction. Like, there were about, I think, 2 times where he's going through the deductive process, trying to narrow down lists of suspects, or come up with a motive, or come up with how a crime was committed. And he takes everything to theater. Like, in his mind, and even acting it out in person, everything is like a Broadway play to him, and like I find that worked so well, the way he did it. Like he just associates everything that he does with the theater, because the theater is basically his life, and even solving crimes, he does it like a Broadway diva, and it's just it's great.
Mic off.
Yes, and that, again, like I said, that was a strong background. That's where he came from, and that's what he went off. I guess they're all kind of like, at least him and Steve Martin, with Martin and those with his Brazos fallbacks or comebacks or whatnot. But I enjoyed the characters, especially when they're just kind of doing their investigatings, I guess, or just investigations, just trying to pinpoint it, trying to figure it out. And it seems silly because, yes, they're amateurs, they're people listening to other podcasts that are like, hey, we can do this. And it's just one of those things where they get caught up in their own thing, where they at some point have their own fans, and they're like, hey, they were us before we did this, and they have good points that we probably would have caught had we not been doing this. But it's very entertaining. Obviously, yes, without giving it away, kind of leaves it open for a sequel or for a second season, I guess. And I haven't heard anything if they are or not.
They are. A second season has already been confirmed.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Yeah, and I personally cannot wait. I have my theories. Since we're doing a spoiler-free cast, I will, reserve those theories. But I do feel like I know at least who's involved, But anyway,
you think Nathan Lane's going to be there?
I love Nathan Lane. A lot of these cast members I love. I'm a big fan of Steve Martin. I'm a big fan of Martin Short. I'm a big fan of Nathan Lane. So I would love for Nathan Lane to come back.
Just Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane was Demas, their benefactor.
Oh, okay.
Teddy Demas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Also Timon from Timon and Pumbaa.
Yes. Dude, I just love Nathan. I love the cast was the big draw for me for this show, and I loved it. So,
what'd you think about Sting?
I learned that he's the one that sings the Fields of Gold song. I never knew that. I always liked that song. I don't know the lyrics to it, but that song that plays in that elevator scene on the last episode. You know what I'm talking about. I love that song, and I never knew it was Sting that sang it. Again, I don't know the lyrics, but na 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 fields of barley. Sue me, I don't know the lyrics, but I love the song. It's a very
I was trying to think of the song.
Huh?
I was trying to think of the song. Yeah. Anyway.
But I learned that, and that was cool. I liked his insertion, but it's just kind of like a celebrity cameo.
It would have been better if it was the wrestler Sting.
Or both of them.
Wow, which Sting did it?
They get it confused. Which Sting did? Isn't there also like there's a wrestler named Sid Vicious, and then there's like a rock star named Sid Vicious, right?
Yeah.
You should do where never mind, I'm getting off track. But anyway, just I have nothing but positive things to say about it. Like everything, the music, the acting, the story, I loved every bit of it. If I were to give it a what did you? No, we're not using that scale anymore.
The hard scale?
No.
Are we dusting off the hard scale? Or we just blow the dirt off it? Oh, it still works. There it goes. God, it just went to Chubb.
If I were to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a perfect 10. Honestly, I found no flaws with it, and I really truly enjoyed it. I was enthralled the whole way. So that's my rating.
No. Ring, did you watch it? Yeah, I did. It was real good.
I got way
good,
too
Ring.
busy for my own good, so I didn't actually have to catch it.
Oh, okay, I thought you might have.
No, I really wanted to, but lost stuff this week.
Well, that's
no
cool.
worries.
Well, with that, I
I liked it as well.
think that can, unless somebody else has something to add on this particular show, I think that can wrap it up.
When Nick was your
I'm
2
sorry.
cents.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thank you.
No,
Thank you, my cousin. for
I
remembering me.
I said if nobody else has anything to say.
I asked if Ring saw it. I just wanted to make sure. I thought he did.
I opened the
Anyway.
floor for anybody. Go ahead, Nick.
All right,
But
thank you.
Thank you for him
Mic
sending me
off.
the spoiler pre-review, so I don't get caught up in it.
Yeah, I try to make sure people can enjoy this, and then also they can come back and watch our spoiler review
On.
Why?
on Movie Corner.
Why am I always made out to be the bad guy in everything? I like seriously. I just.
Oh, go. So this is still about you, and I can't talk. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I did the nice background. Look at this nice thing. I make the
I can't
visual.
see anything. What are you talking about?
You can see it in the future.
Oh, behind in the future. This is lovely. Is this velvet?
It is. And so
No.
Nice.
Anyway,
Let's move on.
Anyway, I like this.
Mic off.
I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was. I was bored. I saw it on Hulu, and I was like, you know what? S likes it. I'll give it a shot. And the first episode was a little like, all right, I get it. Here's the concept.
Now,
Okay, these strangers are gonna become oh, all right. And then it kind of just boiled on. Like, okay, all right, this is good. It got better.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question since we're on the subject of Hulu. Since we're reviewing anything anyways. Have you seen the anime version of Cowboy Bebop yet?
Mic on.
no, I have not.
Okay.
The cartoon version, you mean, right?
Anime, yeah.
Cartoon.
Yes.
You're gonna trigger people. 'cause
I'm
doesn't
just
that
no, I don't know. You said that. No, this is a live action version. I thought it might have been mixed up. Anyway, go ahead.
isn't a happy medium saying the animated version because
No,
anime
no,
and
it's
cartoon
anime.
are both animated.
It's anime.
Implies it's American.
I said cartoon just to clarify.
Anyway, no, I have not yet. It's on my watch list with a list of other things, but I have not gotten to it yet.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yes, I have. I honestly have a lot of things
Boba
that I
Fett
want to
started.
Yeah,
We're like 3
that's been
episodes
good.
deep.
I've heard
That's
it
been
hasn't
good.
been. I've heard that it hasn't been as good as The Mandalorian. I don't know.
It's
That's
different. It's a
It is.
different story.
Yeah. The
And
main difference is it
and
doesn't
it's
have
on
a cute,
Tatooine.
it doesn't have a cute little baby in it. That's the only difference. Like,
What do you mean? We got the Hutts.
There's a baby
Well, I
Jabba the
mean-
Hutt.
No, they're like some
not-
weird, gross conjoined twins.
What the fuck?
They're not conjoined.
They look conjoined.
They're in the same fucking litter, and they're lazy fucks. But
Well,
whatever.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna try to move apart and they can't. Anyway.
Hey, dude, fucking was it Danny Trejo?
I haven't seen this episode yet, but I heard he's in it. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's
I heard about the
it's built
Rancor.
up, dude.
And I was like, yo, Rancor back.
Wait, are you on 2 or 3?
I am on 2, but I heard about 3.
3 was amazing, dude. The train scene was just, mwah, you know. Just,
Wait, is that 3?
Chef's quit.
no, that's 2.
2's the train scene.
Yes.
Okay, you misspoke. You said 3 in the train. I was like, wait, another train? Okay,
No.
Anyway.
No. The train scene was in 2, and it was fun.
Yeah, no, it was sick. It was pretty good. I love a good train scene.
It felt like an old western, you know.
Yeah, that's always a great like hallmark of the old westerns, train scenes.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! The first episode, I felt it came out pretty strong. Not to say too much, but it definitely was. It put some fucking demons to rest, which was the big question was.
I feel
How
bad
did you
for
get out of the Sarlacc pit? You know.
I feel bad for calling sand people now. Those
Yeah.
noble Tuscan raiders.
Indeed, they are noble, and unfortunately, it's the off-roaders who misunderstood them the entire time.
Yep. We're the monsters.
Indeed,
They scare easily, but they'll be back and in greater numbers.
This
they
is
share
true.
easily because of past tribances, and you know.
Yeah.
Transgressions.
Yeah.
So anyway, when it turned out to be the murderer was a Tuscan raider, that took a real big turn.
What the fuck, bro?
And that's a review of Only Murders in the Building.
So let's move on to the other review that we were supposed to do today.
Yes, and why don't you, Ring, since I did the whole synopsis on Only Murders, why don't you give us a synopsis of GBA?
Oh, I don't know if I can do a spoiler free though. It's not a murder mystery, so there's no.
Don't care about spoilers.
Why don't we spoil this one? Why don't we spoil? You got a
Okay.
nice little light review of Only
It's
Murders.
been up for a while, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a murder
Spoilers
mystery.
ahead. Spoilers ahead.
And
Yeah,
I already
spoiler.
told you I don't mind else.
Yes. So let's
My
start
God.
off where Afterlife begins, which is it's obviously something's going on in the middle of Oklahoma. That's where the majority of the movie takes place. You see an older man who has a trap and hauling ass back to his farmhouse, and you can deduce that this man is in fact Edon Spangler. And he sets up an elaborate. He triggers an elaborate trap set up outside the house, and as the spirit approaches, and he triggers the trap, it fails. It just fails the trigger. And then Edon retreats back into the house and he finds a place to hide the trap, which apparently has some very big importance in the movie, whole thing. And the spirit comes in, and which turns out it's a terror dog, right? And unfortunately, kills Edon. And it does a fast forward. I think it's about 2 weeks or so, right?
Yeah.
And it moves forward, and you see the family of Spangler, which of course it does not allude to that in the film until much later, but
Mic on.
you did the idea who it is. You have the Phoebe, who is the young girl. She's actually brilliant, socially awkward a bit.
Takes after her grandfather.
Yes. Then you have the brother, who was the kid from Stranger Things, right?
Trevor.
And then the mother, who is like, fuck that guy, whatever, because she's apparently burned by her experience with Edon for a reason. So they find out that he invented, so they decide to move on out, and they move to Oklahoma because Edon has left the house to the family. He does this whole thing about building up a new life, yada yada yada. Oh, we'll be okay here, and then of course, people like whatever. This is a joke, kind of thing. And so is the brother, right? PBB says kid named who calls himself Podcast, and that was actually cute. And then they meet Paul Rudd, who is actually the teacher for the science class, but is actually a seismologist, which is a little world building on what's going on. So then after that, all that, an earthquake happens, which they've noticed but apparently the town's just like, whatever, we don't care about this, her trait. It's just another thing. But podcast leads Phoebe to the mountain, where apparently, if you know your Ghostbuster history, he references that there was a company there that mined out selenium, which is used to make selenium girders. Which, if you remember, was the girders used to create the apartment building in the first Ghostbusters, where everything went down. Yeah. And she's wondering about, like, what the hell? Why would they use selenium for it? Like, they apparently only certain people knew about the New York incident. It alludes that, like, there's some people who know and remember it. Others, like, it's happened so long though, it was a one-off that it doesn't really matter kind of thing. Like the kids and stuff like that. So they made I'm trying to remember now.
Well, basically, the kid Trevor gets a job at that burger place.
Yes.
Meets a girl. He gets a job because he likes the girl.
Who lied on his form, by the way.
And
you lied about his age. Yes.
And Phoebe, the girl, she starts to kind of get curious about things that are going on because she starts to get influenced by her own grandfather. He starts playing chess with her. Remember?
Yes, and that was amazing.
Yeah, kind of leads him to her. Leads her to his old secret garage, shed, shack, whatever.
Yes, and
wait, is he a ghost?
Well, Edon died.
Yeah,
I know, but, like, is he a ghost, like, from, like, they make Afterlife appearance?
I mean, the movie is called Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That's still, you could be dead and actually pop up.
It's alluded that because when Edon died, they had the device that detects spectral activity, and when he died, like the Terror Dog left, the device activated. So it's hinted that he became a ghost.
Did he? I have a question.
Keep in mind, I haven't seen it.
Real quick.
So I asked.
Ring in the beginning where he's sitting awaiting his fate, he pulls out like a taser from the PKE meter. Did he kill himself, or did he?
No.
Did he get one last good shot in before?
That device is used for additional method of self-defense against the other beasts.
So he basically just got a good shot in before the demon dog got him.
It was just a visual effect.
It's kind of a last resort weapon.
Yeah, but at that point, it wasn't going to do anything. The Terror Dog was going to do what it's going to do. Unfortunately, of course, the other Terror Dog was in the trap all along, which you'll find out shortly. So Phoebe then, Edon basically teaches Phoebe about, or at least shows Phoebe the things that are broken around the lab. Like, for example, one of the proton packs, I think it was called.
Yes.
And she shows him, and she puts it back to their piece of it, and she's like, "How did you do this?" And like, it doesn't show him as a ghost, but it shows items being manipulated. Yeah. And he puts a light to all those fucking certificates degrees. And degrees. Like, PhDs. Oh, you're a genius. Got it.
Yeah, because just to kind of give Val a reference, yes, she stumbled upon, I guess, this secret lair, and yes, there's no physical entity, but there is something interacting with Phoebe, and the way she's going back and forth with it, the entity is implying that yes, it's Egon's spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you, for clarifying that.
I was clarifying that right now. Anyways, so you won't actually see Edon proper until the end of the film. That's the thing. That's how it goes down. Moving on. So eventually, Phoebe gets one of the proton packs going, and she knows a top podcast to test it out at an old refining facility, which was used for the said selenium. And that's when they do a test, and the proton pack works. It's fucking awesome, right? It was a great scene. Like, it went far more detailed than the original Ghostbusters and how on the activation sequence, and that was gold. So then they do a successful test, and podcast like, hey, let me try it out now, and Phoebe just ready to take it off. But then they hear a noise like, a shriek or like metal crunching. So they look around the facility and they find a class 5 vapor, which they called Munch. And they attempt to catch it, but it results in failure because podcast was not very eloquent with the traps. Or what's the trap, I should say.
He threw it, it lands on its side or upside down.
Yeah, no shit, man. Like, come on, man.
It has
Also,
its own little
Munchkin-
wheels and shit, and how the fuck do you fuck it up that bad?
So, also, Munch can spit out the metal it ate. So, it effectively makes it a machine gun in its mouth. And...
Well, before that, I do want to say that... No. Was it before? Because the catalyst event that happens that kind of starts triggering things is, remember Paul Rudd and his curiosity on finding the kids with the ghost trap? They hook up a battery to it, and
yes, that happened before actually.
Yes,
and that fucked everything up. Like if the trap had stayed in the trap, everything would have been fine.
Yes,
like, there was no. Yeah, it was.
It triggered ghosts to start appearing again, and the ghosts are actually coming out of this underground chamber that was an abandoned mining pit.
Correct. So eventually, what happens is they go back. They're heading back home after not catching the dose, and at the same time, the brother is working on the Ecto 1, which was in a garage. He tries to get it running and tries to start, but you can see like something is manipulating the wires to fix them, which was Egon, and he gets it running. He does a little off-roading there through the farm and stuff like that, and then he finds the Phoebe and podcast and say like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Hey, we're trying to catch Dose," and like, "Well, and then they did the British idea of going after Munch. Which then they tried to catch him, which they made an effort through the town, basically just scarring half the buildings and having the proton or positron or whatever the device just fire off throughout the entire town, including the brother's workplace, the signs and stuff like that. It was messy. But they did catch Munch. They did. Then they're heading back, and the police catch him because of all the damage was done that was in said Ecto 1. And then Phoebe almost attempts to commit murder.
Yeah.
Like, straight up fucking murder, dude. She was ready to shoot that fucking cop. Or sheriff.
And I don't think the cop felt threatened at all because he didn't know what the fuck it was.
Exactly, but she knew.
Yeah.
And she was ready, dude. She was fucking ready. So, just to elaborate. When the mom comes to pull him out, and she's pissed as fuck about the whole thing, right? The sheriff deputy made a snide comment about the crazy dirt man or something like that, something to that extent, right? And Phoebe, knowing better, right, and that Edon was not fucking crazy, she activates the proton pack on the fucking desk and aims it right at the sheriff. Like, it's ready to go.
I think it's her brother, that steps in and like grabs the thing and says no.
No, it was the mom. It was the mom. Yeah. And the mom herself is not innocent in all this either for a reason. Anyway,
just quick backstory, because yes, it's in this setting of Oklahoma, it's basically the middle of nowhere. It's a small town where everyone's just like, you're basically kind of waiting to die. It's nothing to do. It's a very small town, and Egon had this decent property of a farm, and he got a nickname called the Dirt Man because despite having this decent property, he never farmed anything, he never grew anything. It was just dirt and just, I guess, random, dirt, straw, what have you. He just never did anything with the farm. At least that's what it seems to the naked eye. And he's kind of known as the crazy dirt man around town, which triggered Phoebe. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. You're good. So things move forward, and then as a result of the other demon terror dog getting loose, after everything's been talked about, all this stuff, with Phoebe and the brother and the mom and stuff like that, it cuts to Paul Rudd going to Walmart of all places, and apparently one of the spirits had worked its way into there, and now you have fucking mushroom Stay Puft Marshmallow dudes, little dudes everywhere, man. And of course they're not friendly. They're biting. They're doing all sorts of shit. They're not there to be your friends, despite having a smile on their face
the entire time.
You would think that the Stay Puft Marshmallow would be the most harmless thing ever.
Now, can I interject on something?
Sure.
On that note, I want to know why those Stay Puft Marshmallow things came into existence, because in the first Ghostbusters, so as Ring says, basically these things start climbing out of, because apparently the Stay Puft Marshmallows are still a thing. They never went out of business despite the bad publicity of their mascot tearing up New York. But anyway,
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
well, I guess, okay. But anyway, these things start coming out of the bags, and I understand that their ghosts have been released and they're probably manifesting themselves into random objects or whatever, but I don't understand why they don't just take a random form, why they specifically come back as Stay Puft Marshmallows. In the original one, remember, Gozer said choose the form of the Destroyer, and Peter was like, clear your heads, don't think of anything, and Ray's like, oh, it just popped in there. I wanted something that could never possibly destroy us, Mr. Stay Puft. So that's why Mr. Stay Puft showed up, because Ray conjured him up in his mind, and that was the form that was chosen for the Destroyer. This is, like 30 plus years later. Gozer hasn't even appeared yet, and it doesn't have any rhyme or reason as to why there are the little Stay Puft Marshmallow people. And anyone have theories on that?
You did.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Also because the exact reason why you said. Ray chose the form of the Destroyer. That never changed. There has not been another Destroyer form chosen yet.
Except there was once that of a giant Slore. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm a big
anyways.
fan of the original Ghostbusters.
But that's the thing though. Ray chose the original form. There's no new form has been chosen yet. Okay.
So it's just a template left over.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But we did step one thing though, that people did call Ray while in jail.
Oh yes,
And-
yes. Very important.
And Ray elaborated saying, hey, he screwed us over. He took the traps, he took everything. He took the Ecto-1, which is why it's all there. Even the isotopes, for the proton packs. So, there's that, but, Ray was like, we were friends. Well,
And Egon tried to tell them about this, but they wrote him off as going crazy.
Yes.
Because he wanted their help. So it's not like he
Yes.
just abandoned them and wanted to strike out on his own. He wanted their help, but he started prophesizing, rightfully so, that the world was going to come to an end and he had to fight it, and that something big was coming in the year 2021. But
wasn't at least one of those revelations
Revelation 6:12.
right? But that was Ray, right, from the original Ghostbusters, or was that Zedmore?
No, that was Ray talking to Zeddemore. He said, "I remember remember Revelation 7:12, and I looked, and behold, there was a great seal, and the sky became as black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood." I don't remember the exact quote, but something along those lines.
That was a nice throwback. I'm just saying, So, anyways, but of course, he tells him that Edon's dead, and then obviously that made Ray feel very different about the situation, because it was he's dead, and that was her granddaughter. That was the thing. So plot moves forward. Paul Rudd finds the terror dog at the Walmart. Unfortunately, just taken by the said terror dog. Right, for those who know what terror dogs do.
Think Rick Moranis in the original.
Right. By the way, if you noticed, that terror dog has the same exact personality as the original terror dog. Like it's the same exact one. Like fidgety and stuff like that. That's the terror dog.
Yeah. Oh, that's Vince Clortho.
Yes.
And yes, I did notice that. I thought that was funny. I thought that was well done. And then of course the other one, Zool, is all fucking sexual and shit. And
yeah, she does the whole dress scene and stuff like that.
Yeah, she likes to look good.
Yes. So, moving on. Things. I'm trying to remember what happened next after that. They go back.
Isn't the next part where Zool takes over? Callie, I think is her name.
The mom. And they're freaking out because like, Mom? She's like, and then she jumps and does like, approaching podcast saying, "Are you the gatekeeper or something, or key master?" I'm like, dude, no, that's not him. No. And then she bolts because the mountain blows up.
Yes.
or erupts.
And we have
then all the ghosts and all the things like that start appearing around, Somerville. That's the name of the town. Then they decide to break their equipment out, and they can't because it's behind an unbreakable door.
What causes all the ghosts and everything to erupt is, let's not forget, Egon actually, this mountain or this underground mine has these ghosts
right.
that are trying to come out. And every time they get further up, Egon actually set proton weapons around the chamber to automatically fire and suppress the ghosts that are trying to come out. So when some of the ghosts actually get out, such as Vince Clortho, the demon dog, and takes over Paul Rudd, now possessed, goes down into the chamber and sabotages the proton weapons. So now basically the gates of hell open, and think of the breathe scene from the original Ghostbusters when their containment chamber blows, everything is unleashed, ghosts run rampant, and everything goes crazy,
including fucking Igor Shandor.
I want us to talk about that. Yes, Igor Shandor himself comes back to life, and he's on screen all of 30 seconds. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But go on.
You got to take the context of what it is, though. Because Gozer does not share power with anyone. It is there to destroy and to take over the world.
Yeah, he basically, he vows his fealty.
Remember, it's not a he or a she.
No, evil Shandor vows his fealty to Gozer. He's like, I will serve you, master.
We take over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I will serve you and we can take over the world. And she literally just grabs him and pulls him in half.
Like, fuck you, dude. I'm doing this shit on my own. Fuck y'all. Fuck off with that business.
But I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more of evil Shandor in there.
Yeah. Oh, we're here. He served his purpose. He's out of the way. It's not a big deal. So eventually they make their way to the mountain and they trap one of the terror dogs, which then partially cancels out Gozer, because Gozer needs both.
Yeah, they anchor it to this world, so it needs both the gatekeeper and the keymaster in order to be fully embodied in this world, corporeal, I guess.
Corporeal.
In the world. Without both, it loses a significant amount of its power and it's not fully manifest.
Correct. Now, of course, we fast forward and we're back at the farm, and Phoebe has the trap. The brother and podcaster in the car. Callie is with them as well. Of course, you see the fading image of Gozer crossing the field,
which was pretty creepy.
It was pretty fucking creepy, man. That was some grade A effect there.
Yes.
And of course, she tells Callie to trigger the trap, but it fails, just like it failed
for Egon.
Egon, right? It failed in a standard way. The capacitors, which keeps the trap powered, overloaded and just tripped, and that's it. And then this whole big struggle occurs, and fucking Gozer's serious fucking business.
The Keymaster gets released, and Gozer reestablishes power, becomes...
And Keymaster takes the girl that the brother is interested in. So that was wild.
So it seems all is lost at that point. Right.
It was basically the wall, back against the wall at that point. And then right as she's about to blast them, or de-atomize them, I guess. Fucking, you see another blast, which comes from the original Ghostbusters. They showed up. Ray, Mankman, and Zedmore. Trying to contain him. But the thing is, and they cross the streams. They do. They cross the streams. But this bitch uncrosses the streams. Like, holy shit, that was fucking wild. And then, of course, incapacitates them, and then Mankman, of course, trash talks, like, we could have been something, you had to go fuck it up, or whatever. Not in that language, but, you get the idea.
She definitely remembers them.
Oh, yeah, she even says, like, you remember us, don't you? And she has that little snarl.
She just growls, like, you fucking guys again.
So
It remembers
they're out.
him.
They're down, right? And Zedmore tries to take one shot, but she disarms him right on the spot. And what happened next? I think Phoebe starts shooting, right?
Well, she was about to destroy the original Ghostbusters when she gets shot from behind by Phoebe.
Yes.
And then Phoebe decides to try to solo take her on. So they basically do the thing that's been done in every
dual
superhero
beams kind
movie.
of thing,
The
man.
dual beams meeting each other. You know, Gozer shoots her beam at Phoebe. Phoebe shoots her proton pack, and Phoebe's losing. You know, and
She's being pushed back.
it seems like everything's lost, and that's when the most heartwarming thing happens in the movie.
I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I cried.
Dude, I got watery eyed. I didn't straight up blubber, but I got watery eyed for sure.
Like once I saw that hand fade in, I'm like, oh my god, this is it.
Yeah, as Ring said, a hand fades in, showing that there was a hand. Because she starts to get strength back, she starts to win the fight, and that's when you see a hand fade in on the proton pack over her, showing her grandfather Egon. Which, by the way, they did a magnificent job on rendering a CGI version of Egon, basically him guiding her hand and helping
You know,
her.
his brother or someone that's a stand-in.
I have no idea. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they had someone stand in. It was either that or Jason Reitman. Someone. They had someone do the stand in, which was magnificent either way.
Yeah.
Then the other three did back up. You know, they start zapping the shit out of Gozer.
And then
The
all
brother
four
has-
of them.
but it's not enough.
Yeah,
So-
all four of them join forces. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm stealing your thunder.
So the brother who has finally got his proton pack working because goddamn Marshmallow Man was about to aim at Gozer, but decides to aim for the capacitors. You know, they short out, and it triggers the traps. And it's a magnificent visual effect on this whole scene. Like you see all of them light up. And of course, there's a storm soaring overhead, right? And the traps activate and pull Gozer in 15, 20 fucking directions. Which then, you know, cancels out Gozer. Like, Gozer is torn apart as he not being one single being and is pulled into multiple traps. It was awesome. I loved it. And while that was happening, that whole time, Phoebe has been moving over where the other guys are. And Zedmore first notices Adon. And then bumps Bateman, and he's like, look at that. You know, silently, of course. And then Ray sees it. And they're like, I don't believe it, you know? So after that's defeated, you know, everything's done. And then, you know, everything calms down. The Ray's like, I'm sorry I didn't believe you.
That
I'm sorry.
felt so sincere. It looked like it was Ray saying that not to, you know, the special effects. I think he was actually talking to Harold Ramis. Because it seemed like there was emotion in Ray, or he was, you know, just thinking about how much he misses Harold, because it seemed very emotional. He says, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you. And then when Winston says, I miss you, my friend, that got to me too, man.
It hurt. It really hurt. So then, of course, Edon then, you know, like basically does the, you know, essential thumbs up to PB, like, you done good work, you know? And the brother, he looks at him because it is his grandson, right? And then he goes to Callie, and that shit was brutal. Like, not brutal, like bad, like, man, that hit the heart. Because Callie led most of her life thinking that he did not care. And that was made apparent very frequently throughout the film, that she was spiteful.
She had a huge resentment.
Exactly. And she only found out a hint of the truth when she found the secret basement. Before being taken by the terror dog, so bad timing. But she's breaking down, like, you know, like, and then he's like, yeah, and he has that, like, you know, that I know thing, you know.
They hug, and at that point, I think there's closure.
Yes,
because that's the point that he
passes on. Like, his business has been done. It's finished. You know,
and then seeing as his sparkles or his essence floats up into the sky, seeing for Harold, god damn it, man.
Holy shit, dude, that was something else, man. And the post-credit scenes are great. Okay. I remember they're doing the whole thing, you know, this person, right? And then it goes to the original Ghostbusters making special appearances. And then it flashes Sigourney Weaver. Right?
Yeah.
And it flashes to fucking Sigourney's, her apartment with Bankman there. With the electrical shocker device.
The card reading fucking electrical shocker.
And then, you know, Bankman is taking the test. He's like, is it a wavy line? He's like, yes, how'd you do it? Oh, well, you know, love is, a true motivator. And then it turns out that on the second card, it's like, yeah, I marked the cards. And honestly, I just shot all the guys. I never shot the girls. You know, Bateman being Bateman.
And she just shucks the fuck out of him.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That was well deserved. And then the post-credit scene.
That one was
which, by the way, was a major one if you think about it.
Yes, it was.
First off, it was, what's her face? I know her name is Annie Potts, but the
Janine?
Janine. Janine's talking to Zedmore. And Zedmore had turned out is a very successful businessman. He owns a corporation. You know, he started after the Ghostbusters ended.
He got multiple doctorates supposedly after being, you know, after his run.
Yeah, he's smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is smart. So, and apparently he's been taking care of Ray by paying for his rent.
That has yet to turn a profit on his business.
But he thinks he will someday.
Yeah.
So either way, he's doing it as a favor because he and Ray are friends. I mean, it was quite apparent that throughout all the films that he and Ray had the most sentimental connection.
Yeah.
Then they lead him to the original fire station, which then pulls in the Ecto-1 and saying, you're home, you know? But then, at the very end of the post-credit, it goes to the basement of the firehouse.
The containment
unit. It's the old ghost containment unit. And it's beeping red. And it cuts. That's awesome. So basically, what that means is it leaves it open for a sequel.
Yes.
Like they could do anything with that. They don't have to rely on Gozer anymore. It's its own thing. I mean, it could be the Farrelly brothers or whatever. those guys.
Yeah, the ones that got the chair. Fucking 12.
Yes, that was a great scene, by the way. It was awesome. So, looking back on it, this film was very different from the other two in its own special way. The first two films were focusing on a business, right? This film was focused more on family because of the legacy that Egon had provided, you know, as being part of that business. There was definitely a lot of nostalgia, a shit ton of it. Some moments were a little off, but it didn't bug me at all. I was all into the film, right? The Ecto one, when she did have her siren screaming, was a fucking godsend. It was amazing. Okay, I was all about it. All the throwbacks, all the moments, and the touching moments with Egon and Phoebe were just fucking heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. I'm glad they brought closure to Gozer. Like it. You know,
it ain't coming back, I don't think.
No, unless something happens to Trash, but we're not into that.
And it makes sense. It makes sense because remember when they decided to cross the streams, Egon said the door swings both ways. We'll cross the streams, meaning they didn't destroy Gozer. They just pushed it back into the dimension or the afterlife or whatever from where it came. So Gozer was still around. Is just, you know, waiting for its next chance to, you know, make its appearance in the world.
Yes.
This time it seems a bit more final. You know, they tore it apart. So that, you know, it's interesting the way they brought it back.
I enjoyed it as a whole. Of course, we got the classic Ghostbusters theme at the end. That was great. Now they did say that they are. Dan Aykroyd did say as long as the original actors are still alive, that they will appear in all future Ghostbuster films as a little, you know, tribute, if you will. And the biggest problem was that the film was originally supposed to be meant to be released in the 2000s or something like that, like in 2010. But Bill Murray, among one of them, was a big staller for that, and everybody remembers the 2016 Fembusters. They are not acknowledged at all in this particular iteration. Like, they didn't exist, basically.
Yeah, which pissed off the director of the 2016 one. I remember.
Yeah, well, fuck him. Anyways, the Fembusters were just not funny. There was no spirit of it at all. It just didn't jive right. It was just basically, hey, we're women. Yeah, we can do whatever we want because, and then we're gonna do it with the most horrible comedy lines ever. And
the comedy was forced. With the original Ghostbusters, there was no forced comedy. It was just things that happened, and the acting, was just good enough. They had the chemistry that it was funny. It was humorous. They supported each other with their roles. Bill Murray was always the sarcastic one, the dry humor. Dan Aykroyd was the over-enthusiastic, nerdy one. Egon, of course, was the classic smart guy, the one that always comes up with the inventions and stuff. And then
Zedmore was the sex appeal.
Well, I guess, but he was the straight man, the Joe Everyman that kind of came in. I always kind of looked at
the character himself said, "What were you then?" I'm the sex appeal man.
Yes, he did say that. But real quick, I'm gonna give my 2 cents of the film. And then I'll open it up because I'm sure Obs and Nick or whoever else has something else to say. Val, Val, you haven't seen it yet, right?
No.
Sorry, we spoiled everything.
If I was father, I wouldn't have been in this pod.
Yeah. Anyway, so my 2 cents is on this film. I will say, it is not as funny. It is not as thrilling, or I don't want to say action-packed. It didn't have as good action. It wasn't as funny. It wasn't as clever as the original Ghostbusters, but what it lacked in all of that, it made up for in heartwarming, because it really is one of those. It's a feel good film because the ending leaves you feeling good, warm.
Things have closure.
Yeah.
Not so open ended.
Would you say the ending makes you feel like gooey in the middle?
Oh God, no, we're not. No. He doesn't make me feel like the gooey part of a tomato. But anyway,
right.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The ending itself really spoke to me. I was very, very close with my own grandfather, and when I saw that, especially when he fades in and is shown guiding his granddaughter, that just completely warmed my heart to a level that I can't imagine. Because honestly, when my grandfather was still alive, God rest his soul, I would look to him for guidance, for wisdom, and stuff like that. Just things of what should I do and how should I do it. And to me, it's a comfort at times thinking that he, whatever you believe, whether you believe there's an afterlife or not, to me it's a comfort to think that he might still be watching over me. So watching that as she's fighting her first ghost, because I'm pretty sure she's going to become a Ghostbuster after that, fighting her first ghost and him guiding her, holding her hand through it, and then joining up with the other 4, that moment just made the whole movie for me. It really did. It touched me. It warmed my heart, and I absolutely loved it. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see more of Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd as an actor. I honestly thought he was going to have more of a mentorship role to the kids, and instead he turned out to be the Rick Moranis of this movie, which I'm not trying to talk any kind of shit on Rick Moranis, because Rick Moranis is a great actor in his own right, and he did do great in the original Ghostbusters, but he was just something to move the plot forward. He was a catalyst and not really have that big of a role. I kind of, thought he was going to have more of a mentorship role, kind of guiding the kids, and unfortunately that was not the case. But it was still
the story forward more than Rick Moranis, though.
Yeah, he was more integral, but I was still hoping for a little bit more. But that's a minor nitpick. Callie, the mom, I still wonder who was Egon's partner. Who did he have the kids with? They never touch on that, right? Or did I miss that?
It's never elaborated. It's definitely not Janine, though Janine does have a special place,
Yeah.
I'm guessing though this occurred where Egon just took off, and left Callie's mom there, and Callie's mom probably dead at this point.
Yeah, likely.
So that's why. Because otherwise, they would have went to Callie's mom first, the house, and then that would have been different. So instead, had the mom die off screen. Then when he dies, it directly goes to her because of next threat to kin.
Did you guys anybody here ever watch a cartoon came out around the 90s, late 90s? Because in the early 90s, there was a cartoon of the real Ghostbusters. Then after that, they kind of continued it with a cartoon called The Extreme Ghostbusters. Has anybody ever
remember that one?
So I would like to see this as kind of a premise for future movies. In The Extreme Ghostbusters, Egon takes a mentorship role. He's a professor, but there's something, basically, there's some construction that's being done deep underground in the city, and they come across some kind of burial chamber, and the mayor tells them, oh, dig anyway, just forget all that, just dig, and they dig, and they unleash a whole horde of ghosts onto the city. That's the first episode. So basically, the other Ghostbusters are all retired, including Egon. In the first episode, Egon tries to go it alone, and try to take down these ghosts. He fails.
Honestly,
nearly gets killed.
Honestly, this film took that idea's place.
Yeah, Egon was always kind of like the one more dedicated, I guess, to being the Ghostbuster, but he fails, nearly gets killed, and four of his students, actually kind of show willingness to, hey, let us do it. We're young. We're able to do this. Train us, teach us how to use the weapons. And he does. He becomes like a mentor to the kids, and they become the new Ghostbusters. And you want to talk about what's the term, like something that's culturally sensitive, I guess. Now this show was way ahead of its time. It has a female Ghostbuster. It has a Ghostbuster who's in a wheelchair. It has a Hispanic Ghostbuster, and it has a black Ghostbuster. So very representative. And I used to like that show. I didn't watch it as much as I watched the real Ghostbusters, but I used to watch it whenever I got the chance, and it was a pretty good show. And there was even one episode where all three of the original real Ghostbusters came back and kind of made a cameo. So I would love to see in the future where like Ray or Zeddemore or even Venkman are kind of like mentors to these kids, because they're still kids, they're still gonna need some mentorship.
I honestly that falls onto
Bill Murray,
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh,
because he's a primary writer for the series.
Yeah,
as it is right now today. It was Ramis and Aykroyd, but because Harold died, now it's solely up to Ray, or should I say Dan, on what to do next.
Well, that's where I would like to see it.
It really, it all depends on what he does and how he wants to approach it. But obviously, we may see a return to roots kind of thing. It may not be so much mentorship, because we have yet to see anything but script. It's still just blank at this point. There's nothing to talk about.
And last thing I'm going to say is, was it just me? Because Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are roughly the same age, aren't they?
Give or take.
Is it just me, or has Bill Murray just aged so much more than the others?
Bill Murray's a party fucking animal.
Is that what it is? It's aged him?
I'm pretty sure.
Because, man, he looks like he's got a good 20 years on Ray, on Sigourney Weaver, on Ernie Hudson. Like, he has aged. Am I the only one that thought that?
No, he does look up there.
Yeah. Well, those are my 2 cents on that. Anybody else want to chime in?
I want to make just one point before I'm done with my little bit. People will say that this Ghostbusters trashes the Fembusters because they're all men. No, the primary hero is in fact a young girl, and has a much more steady ground than the Fembusters.
And Trevor's crush, she's kind of alluded to as being one of the Ghostbusters too, right?
Who?
Trevor's crush. I don't remember her name, but the
older brother's girlfriend,
the one that works at the diner.
Yeah,
she puts on the Ghostbusters outfit.
True. So I'm just saying currently wave is that someone say, oh, this movie just hates women because it trashed it ignored the original Fembusters, just like you said, the director got mad about it. It's like, no. If anything, it's actually a more proper setting because you don't have a bunch of doofy women on stage, trying to make a comedy of the whole thing. You have a serious actress here making a fucking awesome role out of it and just kicking ass at being the character in the movie. And Phoebe does save the fucking day in a way. She recognizes everything. Mm-hmm. She's a fucking genius, an appropriate genius, by the way, not just a Mary Sue. And I really appreciate that. She is actually legitimately smart, and it's entirely possible.
I like.
We hear those kids who are like 12 or going to fucking university or whatever some shit. They exist. It's entirely plausible.
I like the character Podcast. I thought he was well played, but I hate that he calls himself Podcast. I'm like, what the fuck are you, a G.I. Joe character?
He's a mini Ray, dude.
Yeah, I like him, but it's like, just go by your name. Don't call yourself Podcast.
Even the fucking marshmallows all over him, just like when Ray had.
Yeah.
It was great.
Nick, Val, anything to add?
I enjoyed the movie. It was fun. It's obviously, yes. It's I would say a rehash, but yes, there is a lot of nostalgia because I forgot the name of the one ghost that they caught in the mine.
Muncher?
Yes, Muncher. He's basically the modern Slimer.
Yes.
And he pretty much looks identical to him, except he's not eating food. He has a thing for metal, but it feels like it's like a modern rendition of the first Ghostbusters movie. But it's still entertaining. Obviously, yes. Not that it drags. Some parts kind of get a little slow, but obviously it's build up for the big crescendo at the end. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Yes, there was a nostalgia, especially at the end where. At the end where Egon's entity, his spirit, I guess, is finally revealed for the big heart pull moment. But I enjoyed it. I saw it in theaters, but I missed the post-credit scenes, so that was new to me. I found out after the fact that there was stuff at the end, so it's like whatever. But I pre-ordered the DVD or the Blu-ray, I should say, so I'll be able to watch it all once it comes out. Funny thing on that, I heard that they're making a box set of the Ghostbusters movies, and yes, the all-female Ghostbuster is not going to be in that box set.
Why would it be? Honestly, I mean, it was just. Why can't you just say it's a bad movie? It was a bad movie. I mean, if there's another movie that's just a bad movie, it's okay to say it's a bad movie. But this one, for some reason, it's like it's taboo to say it's a bad movie. I've seen just scenes of it that.
Well, it's because if you don't like this movie, you hate women.
Don't you know? That's how it works.
So I've heard.
You woman hater.
Val, I hate you.
Whoa,
buddy!
You're telling me.
After that.
Why are you attacking Val?
Why not take
Val didn't make Ghostbusters.
Nice.
I don't know. You know she heard me. I don't think she's here.
No, I heard you. I was just waiting for you to explain yourself.
Yeah.
You know I'm kidding. You know what? It's part of the joke because they're saying that if I dislike the 2016 Ghostbusters, that I hate women. So I just randomly, yes, I dislike the 2016.
I haven't even seen that movie.
Did you see how he mansplained that to Val?
Yeah.
Just so you know, I hate that movie and I haven't even watched it. That's how bad it is.
You're a self-hating woman.
Oh yeah, totally. That's exactly what I am.
All right. So,
hold
on. Okay, so on the spectral meter, okay, one rating 1 out of 10. How do you rate it, S?
I rated a 7 out of 10.
7?
I geeked the fuck out when they were looking at the fucking spirit guide. That's the book I have. It's even the sketches are done in the same style. Remember I showed you the Tobin spirit guide? They were looking at it, and I geeked out when I saw that. That's so cool.
Yes. Hobbs?
Yeah, I'd say give it a 7 as well.
Okay. Nick, have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I rated it 8.5 out of 10. The nostalgia meter it hit me real hard,
Yeah,
and I was emotionally touched by the end of the film.
and Ghostbusters isn't my nostalgia. I did see the original one. Good movie. Very good movie. But that wasn't my nostalgia button, My nostalgia button was Spider-Man.
I'm sure you know this, S, but the piano riffs throughout the film. In the spirit of the classic Ghostbusters. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it was awesome. That's all I gotta say. And that is where I conclude my piece about this film.
And Nick, I will as soon as it's available for purchase, because I'm not going to theaters. As soon as it's available for streaming, rent, purchase, whatever, I will get Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll get it because I am dying to see that movie too. I wanted to go see it, but with the fucking Omicron, Unicron fucking eating the planet, you know, I'm not willing to risk it. But yeah.
Anyway.
Val, do you have any input from just what we've elaborated for Afterlife?
And know that I love you.
Seeing it.
Oh, I'm sorry?
I look forward to seeing.
Cool.
Rated.
Val knows I love her.
I don't know, you like to threaten me a lot.
That's true. That's how I show affection.
You threaten me, now you tell me you hate me? Jeez, what the hell did I do?
See, now I feel bad.
See, my jokes are fun and cheaty, and your jokes
are
don't
cool. Do that again.
I don't know about that.
Anyway. So I guess that's gonna wrap up this Shoot the Shit Saturday. Anyone want to see us out, or should I?
I'll see us off. I started this event, and I will end this event. Anyways, tonight, I hope you all enjoyed the programming that we have provided for you all here. I hope you all enjoyed the reviews, and I hope that you all continue to like and subscribe our videos. And make sure to put on that bell notification icon on so that we can let y'all know when we add new materials, streaming, recorded, or otherwise. And tonight, just to top it off, I'm joined here by my Nicholas Zombie.
Hey.
And then obviously 2003, the one and only God King of our world. And
God damn it! It's okay. You already fucking kissed up to him enough.
No, you're in the wrong, sir. You're in the wrong.
Yeah, you're in the wrong. The glory is obsolete.
Astronaut DB7.
Settle down.
The hostess with the mostest, Valerie Griner.
Got y'all.
And the God of War Thunder, Green Leader, and myself. Hey. And y'all have a wonderful night.
And a great weekend.
Yes.
Slow down.
Bye.
No.